23, before the earth was round. My mind swam in a sea of hard to believe. I was in Paris, and I still wasn't sure what I was doing there exactly. I had a huge apartment and a cute lady servant named Evette, and I'm sitting down with a guy named Lou for a drink on a balcony. But not until after I'd been abducted from a Los Angeles club by a guy dressed like he'd been shunned from the last Lord of the Rings movie. I kept looking out at the Paris skyline from where I was sitting at the bar. Lou kept on talking. Yes, we brought you to Paris. We needed you here. Evette once more appeared from seemingly nowhere and asked me what I'd like to drink. My guess was that it was around 10 in the morning, but I needed something strong to take the edge off. 3 fingers of scotch on the rocks. Lou followed suit, and I guess to be courteous. The same for me. Evette smiled at me as she put together my drink, and it helped me relax a little. The smile, not the drink. What you saw was a taste, Vaughn. Can I call you Vaughn? Lou continued, mispronouncing it as most people do who haven't met me face to face. If you say it right, Lou, sure, I answered as Evette set the scotch in front of me. My brain said just a sip, but my body simply knocked back the potent liquor. Holy hell, what is this? It's amazing. Lou smiled, his white teeth flashing in the morning sun. It's called McNolda, aged 14 years. We have a supplier in Scotland. He only makes about a dozen bottles per year. What you just sold cost as much as your first car. I felt the color leave my face. Lou clapped me on the back and laughed. I'm joking. We get this stuff for free, but trust me, you don't want to ask for it in LA or New York. Where was I? Oh yes. What you saw in there was just a taste of what we do here. I felt some of the tension collected in my shoulders ease down a little as McNalder went to work. And what is that exactly? Basically, we are an organization that helps shape the state of our civilization. He said with his face completely serious. I smirked. Okay, and when Neo and Morpheus show up, can you ask them where they get those killer trench coats? Lou leaned forward on his stool and keeping his eyes on me. Remember what I said about mathematics, and how they think that studying will get them deeper and deeper into the why of the universe. Well, yeah, but you can't be serious. Have you become so jaded that you can't accept something you always hoped was true? He prodded. Can you at least pretend to give me a straight answer, Lou? I snapped. Evette interrupted from behind the bar. He's trying. Lou ignored her. As an artist, you know what it means to create something from nothing. Take a blank canvas of digital space and bring something forth that did not exist before. You feel it with your beating heart and your living mind. Artists existed before mathematicians, and they contributed more to our cultural identity just by virtue of being creative. A child struggles to work with numbers and calculations until it is drilled into them, but all children can draw and color and build from the moment they can work their fingers and hands. So what seems more natural and by extension powerful? A set of rules and codes and equations that no one is aware of from birth, or the inborn need to add color and shape and the instinct to mark and create around one's environment? I took a deep breath, and I hate to admit it when I'm wrong. What is it that you want from me? Lou stood up and handed me a smartphone like the one Elle had been using earlier. It was oddly light. I want you to work for us, yeah. We can do great things together. Well, what about my life in LA? Lou shook his head. Who do you think we are, the CIA? You have not vanished into a cave never to return. You have a few days to collect yourself, but I caution you to use discretion in how you go about explaining your sudden disappearance. I nodded. It seemed like the wrong time to mouth off, so I lied. I understand. Evette will accompany you back to the U.S. and help you put your affairs in order. Lou said, and then shook my hand. I look forward to your return. He left the balcony. I looked at the smartphone. It was quite the design. Full touch screen, no discernible edges, pearlescent milky white. No screen that I could tell. I looked at Evette. So do I have to worry about roaming with this thing? Evette rolled her eyes. It will work anywhere on Earth. Can I ask you something? She came around from behind the bar and sat next to me. Of course, sir. Should I be at all worried? She tilted her head to one side quizzically. Oh, not at all. Oh, well, the next question. What is it that you do? I continued. She brushed some hair behind her ear and answered, I'm your executive assistant. Primarily, I'm here to help you do whatever you need to do. So you're not an artist like me. I have a master's degree in art history, but I never had the talent to be a professional like you, she confessed, blushing a little. Okay. I took one last panoramic view of Paris before I turned back to her and said, what do we do now? She took out her own smartphone and thumbed over the controls for a few seconds. We have time for you to pack and we have time for you to pack, and then we have to make the airport to join a few of the others on the charter that we have arranged. I took a deep breath. So I'm a busy guy, it looks like, I said to myself. Evette smiled a little at this. Yes, sir, but not to worry. The first few days are most time sensitive. We have a lot to do before you can begin working. I don't know why, but something just popped into my mind when she said that. Hey, wait a sec. Who was the guy you sent to grab me? And why did you do it that way? I'm sure a phone call and a plane ticket would have done the trick. Her small brow furrowed slightly, and she chewed her lip for a moment before answering. His name is Dane. He works for us in a limited capacity, and he has a silly idea that theatricality is the best approach to show potential assets that we mean business. I think he's a child playing at being a superhero. I see. Well, why use him? I'm a reasonable guy. I'd have heard you out in a regular conference. Taking care in how she answered, she placed a hand across my forearm. We are not a regular organization. We can't do things like business. Nor can we do things that might open us up to prying eyes. We have done things the way we have for our protection. So I'll take the super cryptic response with a side salad and the garlic potatoes, I said with a heavy layer of sarcasm. I saw her face tighten, and she clearly was going to take time to warm up to me. Remember how the Spanish Inquisition and later the Nazis responded to the Jews? Being indifferent is enough to incite a violent, potentially genocidal reaction. And that was just religion. We are not talking about different versions of a fundamental ideology. We are dealing with a wholly alternate understanding of the universe. What kind of shift in a society's psychology is too volatile to let loose tirelessly? Damn. She was right. What's more is that she was clearly and empirically correct. I understand. For a second, anyway. Now, do I have time to take you out to dinner before we dread across the world? She blushed a little at that. I guess she wasn't completely immune to my charms. I'm sorry, sir, you don't. Then I guess we'd better get me unpacked, I answered, while making a mental note that she didn't explicitly say no. Back down in the Uber bedroom, I decided to fiddle with the new phone Lou had given me. Evette had some luggage brought out, and what had already filled a bag with 4 days' worth of clothes and the suit I had worn to gratify, which had been cleaned while I was meeting with Lou. I changed out of the white suit and slid with some intense relief, I might add, into a pair of jeans and a red shirt. I felt much more at ease just being in some normal clothes I might wear to the movies. I love my suits. I really do, but there's certain comfort in being in clothes that don't require anything from me but to wear them and be at ease. I had taken a long time in my life to figure out what exactly made a good look for me, and I wasn't surprised that a t-shirt and jeans actually worked out as well as it should have. The phone, however, was something else. And I've always been partial to gadgets, but this thing was like the best phone you can buy, wrapped in bacon and delivered by a Playboy bunny. I ran out of things to do with it before I figured out what it was fully capable of. It could surf the web faster, smoother than any computer I'd ever owned or even seen. It had already been loaded with my phone book, music library, and a weird list of other programs that I had no idea how to work, much less how they managed to clone my music library from my iPod. What struck me the most was the interface. There were no exterior buttons at all, not even a port to plug a charger. Again, no seams, no ports, no buttons. I could thumb across what I can only describe as a galaxy of points, and each one was slightly brighter or dimmer. When I tapped on each one, even though they weren't labeled, I knew what would appear. It was like the phone knew how I had always wanted to work a touchscreen and simply did so. Must you keep playing with that? Evette asked as she closed up my luggage. I'm afraid so. It's so cool, I answered, not even looking up. She put a small hand over the phone, forcing me to look up. We have to talk about something, sir. I put my phone away and stood up. The top of her head was barely even with my nose, and I'm not all that tall. Sure, I've got a question for you anywhere. Is there a dock or port or something to plug this thing into, or do I have to buy batteries for it? I half joked, hearing the serious tone in her voice. I thought better to lighten the mood. Not about the phone. Forget about the phone for a minute, sir, she spat. Stop calling me that, I returned. Very well, Mr. Bjorn, she said under protest, I think. Not that either, I smiled a little. All right, Vaughn, she started. I could tell it made her uncomfortable, and in her surprise, she said it correctly on the first try. I hate always having to correct people. That's better. So what's up? When we get to Los Angeles, there are going to be questions from your peers about your sudden disappearance. Yeah, and? Well, there are certain situations that have to be handled carefully. We have a need for discretion, after all. You can't just run around telling everyone you know whatever you like. I get it, Evette. I'm not some blabbermouth who's going to run straight for the nearest news agency about my super comfy, strangely appropriate abduction halfway around the world. An almost invisible smile showed on her lips. Of course. What I mean is that you have to have, what's the right word, an alibi. How so? Some giant guy punches me out and I show up days later with a cute foreign personal assistant? What's fuzzy about that story? I laid on the sarcasm, unsure of what she was getting at. She opened her mouth to put me in my place, but her phone rang and she answered, "Oui?" I waited for a moment and she looked at me as she hung up the phone. The car has arrived to take us to the plane. Convenient interruption, I started, trying to lighten the mood yet again. I'm not against the girl asking the guy out on a date, She rolled her eyes and tossed a bag at me as we left the room. She didn't say another word as we took the elevator down, and I didn't pay much attention to the lobby we crossed, feeling like I'd overstepped my bounds with the last jab.